Thank you.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. For those of you that don't know, my name is Mohammed Olgarmi. I'm the director of the College and Career Program at AAYSP. This is our second college admissions presentation in the month of November. So we have the UC application deadline November 30th, and then we have the CSU application deadline coming up on December 4th. So Rachel and Tino and Myra have so graciously dedicated their time tonight to kind of walk us through the admissions process at SFSU. And again, this process is very similar to the CSU system as well too. So without further ado, I'm going to let Rachel take it away. If people have any questions during the presentation, just be sure to drop your questions in the chat because Rachel will be addressing the questions at the end of the presentation. Okay, Rachel, whenever you're ready, you can take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Can everyone see my screen right now? Thank you for the thumbs up. Alrighty. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for being here or watching the recording. We are really happy to be presenting to you and answering any questions that you may have. We know that December 4th deadline is coming up really soon. So hopefully today is your best chance to get some of those last minute questions in. My agenda is really going to really briefly talk about the CSU system, just in case for those of you who missed a couple sessions or so, I can just briefly highlight our system. I will also highlight San Francisco State and specifically our campus admissions policies. And then Mohammed and I were talking before the call, and we thought it'd be also a good time to just quickly highlight the CSU application for those of you who are currently working on it or haven't had the chance to check it out. I will highlight some of the main sections that you should focus on, especially the section to input your high school academic coursework, because that's usually the point that will take up the most time on your application. But I will dive into that later on and share my screen so that you can see it in real time alongside with me. And then, like mentioned before, we will be using the chat box. Tino is going to post some links, as I kind of mentioned, and highlight some things about our campus. And he's also there. He just turned his camera on. Hi, Tino. He's also there to answer questions in the chat as I am presenting. So feel free to interact with us. We are happy to also take questions at the end. If you would like to ask it verbally, that's totally fine too. Right now, we are a small enough group to do that. So real quick on the introductions one more time. My name is Rachel Sia. I'm one of the undergraduate recruitment specialists at SF State. With me today is Tino. I'm going to hand it over to him to say hello.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tino Ubungan. I'm an advisor at San Francisco State University. Thank you for the opportunity to allow us to present, and thank you for your time on this Friday night.
Yes, and then also with us tonight is Myra Escobar, who's one of our assistant directors in the department. So I'll have her say hi too.
Hello, guys. Thank you for having us today. We're very excited to be here with you. My name is Myra Escobar, and I am the Associate Director for Undergraduate Recruitment at San Francisco State University. And we are here to answer any questions you may have. I will need to rush off in a few minutes, but you have Rachel and Tino, and I will leave my email address on the chat as well, in case you need to get a hold of me. Thank you.
Yes. She's the big boss, so she's giving you her email address, which is a good thing, right? So feel free to contact any one of us at any point. Alrighty, so let's talk about the CSU system real quick. We are, there we go. We are a very large system of higher education with 23 campuses across the state, as far north as Humboldt and then as far south as San Diego. So really, we have so many locations for you to choose from, various sizes. Every campus has their own unique personality. It's really, really cool. A little bit more about size and location, right? Here's just a handful of what some of our campuses look like on their profile, right? The smaller ones with somewhere between 8,000, 7,000 students in total. You can see Channel Islands, Monterey Bay, Humboldt. The medium campuses such as East Bay, San Bernardino, and SLO, San Luis Obispo, kind of ranging between that 15,000 to a little over 20,000 students in total. And then we have our larger campuses such as San Jose through Fullerton with a whopping 40,000 students on their campus. Us at SF State, we are between that medium to large range with about 28,000 students, both undergrad and grad in total. So really, as you are making your decision, maybe consider how big of a campus you want to go to, right? Because some students really thrive in the smaller environment to get more interpersonal times with peers or professors, or you want to be in a bigger campus because you like to be that social butterfly, or you want to really challenge yourself to go out there and find more things, right? So that's really awesome. Also concerning location, right? We have 23 campuses across the state of California, and California is all not just flat land, right? We have some beautiful, the Central Coast, wine country, where I am actually currently located. Highly recommend if you ask me. You can be by the ocean in that beach area. You can be in a large city, a suburb, or more of a rural kind of environment. Us in San Francisco, I think the name itself kind of speaks to where we are. We are located in the city of San Francisco, right? Mohammed previously told me that many of you who previously registered indicated you're from our Oakland school district. So welcome to our friends next door, just down the street. So hopefully you are familiar with our location a little bit. Alrighty. Jumping right into who we are as a campus specifically, we have a lot of great recognition at SF State. For anyone here who may be interested in the film program or our broadcast and electronic communication, our School of Cinema is amongst the top 25 film schools in the nation. We have some great alum coming out of that program too. Some of them currently work for Disney and Pixar Studios. So if you have seen movies like Inside Out and Up, you know, those are SF State graduates who are executive producing those movies, which is really cool. And through them, our students have a great networking connection with so many of these big entertainment areas. We are also close by to Silicon Valley, right? Not super close, but close enough that we can have those great connections as well. For anyone interested in a business program, especially at SF State, our Lamb Family College of Business is amongst the top 10% of business schools around the world, which is awesome. I'll highlight one or two of the programs a little bit later on, but like I said, we have so many of these recognitions that it just kind of broadens your spectrum when it comes to job searching and making networks and professional connection, right? And then something we really want to highlight and cherish on our SF State community is that we are the first and only institution to have a College of Ethnic Studies. So that means we have a whole college dedicated to ethnic, racial, and social justice type studies and race and resistance studies, right? So you actually have the ability to take a major or even minor in these topics. And it's actually part of our undergraduate general education requirement that our SF State students take some kind of like diversity course. And many students do take a course coming out of the College of Ethnic Studies so that they can better learn about their own community, but also the community and world that's around them as well. So that's something that's pretty unique in terms of what is in our curriculum. Alrighty, I kind of mentioned it before, but overall we have 6 academic colleges. So we have the Lamb Family College of Business, our Graduate College of Education, the College of Health and Social Sciences, our College of Liberal and Creative Arts, College of Science and Engineering, and like I mentioned before, our College of Ethnic Studies. Across these 6 colleges, we have over 70 majors, and some majors actually have concentrations in them as well. So that's really over 100 academic options for you to pick from. As you can see on the slide here, we have both popular majors as well as our impacted majors. Popular majors at the top, we list out business administration. Really about 1 in 4, maybe 1 in 5 SF State students as a business administration student, because that program alone has 9 concentrations for you to specialize in. So if you're interested in business, you can specialize in finance or accounting or information systems. So that's really cool. You can really personalize your curriculum there. And you can see going down the list of popular majors, it just touches upon all of our 6 colleges that we have. On the right-hand side, you do see our impacted majors. Impaction just means that it's more competitive to be accepted there because we have a number of applications going into that program compared to the number of seats we can actually offer to our students. In the CSU system, there are 7 CSUs that are fully impacted on a campus level. Some of those are San Diego State, San Jose State, and the Cal Polys, both Sonoma and SLO. SF State as a campus is not impacted. We just have these programs that are impacted. So that does mean we are looking for your criteria to be above the minimum. And we can definitely go into that a little bit more. I will talk about our admissions criteria a little bit later, but more information can be found on our website specifically for these impacted programs.
So Rachel, just to clarify, these majors right here are the impacted majors at San Francisco State?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, and if a student is applying to one of these majors, are they waitlisted? Because this is something that happened to me in the past at SF State for, I think it was psychology, and I was kind of waitlisted, and I ended up just changing my major. Is that kind of the same thing that the admissions process is doing now in terms of like waitlisting students on certain majors that are impacted?
So I do know for first-time freshmen, when you apply on the application, for programs like nursing and psychology, on the application, it's actually listed as pre-nursing or pre-psychology because we don't have a direct entry path into the upper division level. So that means when you get accepted into the pre-nursing, pre-psychology route, you will take the gen eds required for the upper level division. And then there is a departmental, like supplemental application when you are eligible to be a junior standing and above. Also on the application for freshmen, when you do apply, you have the ability to select a second non-impacted program. So for example, I always like to mention nursing is super popular and of course it is impacted. So freshmen looking into the pre-nursing route, for that second major option, I usually recommend the biology with the concentration of physiology course because throughout your freshman and sophomore year, you will take a lot of the similar prereq courses that is similar to the nursing track that actually can make you eligible for the upper level division nursing track so that when you have, 60 or more units, when you are ready to become a junior standing, you can apply and actually switch from that biology course into that nursing track later on. And I know Myra has a couple insights on that as well.
Yes, thank you, Rachel. I just wanted to go back a little bit to impacted versus popular major. So what you are looking on the screen at the moment is on one column, our popular majors, which means that they are the most popular, but not all of them are impacted. And then on the next column, in the blue or purple bubble, those are the ones that are impacted. We actually are moving away from impaction to some of the majors. So the majors that are impacted for fall 2021 are less than the ones that were impacted for fall 2020, for fall 2020. So what you see on the screen is the popular majors, but not all of them are impacted. Only the ones on the right are the impacted ones.
Okay, and then Noel on the chat asks, so English is popular but not impacted.
That is correct.
Okay,
yes.
And then we have a few students that are actually transfer students that are hoping to transfer. So what would you recommend for, because I think we do have one student that's a transfer student that's trying to apply as a junior in the pre-nursing program. So what would you say for transfer students that are trying to apply for impacted majors? Would you still just recommend the biology route, Rachel?
I think Myra had something on her mind. Let me think about that first.
So if the students are thinking of going into nursing, right, and transferring, and Rachel will go over the transfer eligibility requirements, which we have a couple of options. But there is really, the requirements for the program that I recommend that the students take at the community college, given that it is impacted. So we are looking at major preparation and how the students are excelling in those specific requirements. The higher the GPA, the more competitive the students become, therefore the more chances they have to get admitted. So what I recommend for transfer students, and because the requirements are so different between one population and the other one, at the transfer level, if we're talking junior specific, I want to say that they need to concentrate on major preparation, but we are also looking at general education requirements, right? So it will be a combination of both and how they do complete those courses. If the student is already struggling in the courses for that major, then I will probably recommend to start looking at any of the other majors that might not be impacted, right? They will still have the foundation, they will still have them in the pre-nursing track, but they are not coming into the impaction of the pre-nursing requirements. Remember that for pre-nursing, that doesn't necessarily mean that the students are guaranteed to the program. Pre-nursing is still the students need to show that they are interested in the potential and the academics to go into the program. So even if a student comes within another major, if they have the requirements and apply into the nursing program, then they have a good chance of being admitted into the actual program. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that makes sense, and I think we'll have some more questions at the end because I think there's a few students that are in that current situation that are here in the presentation.
And I think Tino wanted to say something. I don't know if I said what you needed to say, but carry on.
I just wanted to inform everyone that I'm putting links inside the chat box, specifically about information about the impacted majors, so that you have all the breakdowns of what you need for the impacted majors at San Francisco State University. I know, Mohammed, you had specifically said nursing, so the nursing program is a bit different than other majors, being that it's highly impacted, highly popular as well. So again, I put the nursing information in the chat box, which explains how many courses you need to be completed prior to applying, along with your T-scores as well. So you want that information specifically for our transfer student population, along with our freshman population. So again, it's going to be in the chat box, and I'll be responding to questions in the chat box as well.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, no problem. I will also highlight there may be an ADT path, associate degree for transfer for that route. I don't remember specifically if there's one for nursing, but someone, either Myra or Tino, can put the link for our ADT pathways. I will touch upon that later on when I get there, but keep up the good questions. Any other questions at this moment before I proceed forward? No? Okay, sounds good. All right, moving away from academics for a second, let's go into student life at SF State. We are a Division II, NCAA Division II school for our sports. We offer these women's sports, as you can see on the slide here, as well as these men's sports. What's great about NCAA Division II is that you get to play on this professional collegiate level. You can both get recruited and even try out for the sports teams if you are interested in playing. But for those of you who are not interested on the collegiate level, that's okay. We still offer over 13 sports clubs housed in our Mashouf Wellness Center, which is a beautiful state-of-the-art recreational building with an indoor gym, indoor pool. There's even a beautiful indoor rock climbing wall, and it's beautifully decorated. And for students, it's pretty much free for you to utilize because you technically already pay for the membership as part of your tuition and fees. So these intramural sports are great. Oh, Myra just changed her background to show the inside of our beautiful wellness center. Due to COVID right now, it is currently closed, but they are still keeping up the sport club spirit by utilizing game clubs. So I believe there are like Mario Kart and Smash Bros and whatever online gaming is like in right now, which I know there are a bunch. I don't think there is one for Among Us just yet, students. So, but I'm sure there's already a club that's made. So those are really options, or those are some great options. And speaking of clubs and organizations, like I mentioned before, we are a large campus of 28,000 students, and naturally we will build over 200 student clubs and organizations for you to be a part of. These clubs and organizations range from your academic interests, social interests, talent-based interests, and even career-related interests, right? For example, we don't have a route for dentistry or dental school, but there is a pre-dental association for our students in these health programs who maybe want to consider going into graduate dental school in the future. But so many clubs are out there based on whatever interests that you may have, or maybe you have a new interest when you come into college, so you can learn more about a certain area or something, right? So that's really awesome. And then also want to mention that we have 29 Greek organizations, both fraternities and sororities, and that community is continuously growing every year. So we do have a Greek life on campus, which is awesome. A lot of people ask about our student life, and really the slide says it all. It's vibrant, it's active. Our students really like to find their home away from home on campus, whether it's making friends or building some sort of community in the residence halls or even outside of the classroom. So really there's a lot of great ways for you to enhance your college experience here at SF State, both in and out of the classroom. Alrighty, other resources we provide are these offices, as you can see here. And what's great about these services is that they don't cost at an extra fee, except for study abroad, because while you are still overseas, you still have to pay for your fees. But for example, our Tutoring and Academic Support Center offers both full-time tutors as well as peer tutors. So you can go in there and utilize their tutoring services as much as you want, and they won't charge you extra because you are taking, I don't know, 3 tutors a week or whatever, for example. But it's great. Our Career Services and Leadership Development does a really, really great job in helping you prepare for interviews, looking at your resumes, and connecting you to on and off campus internships and job opportunities. They can help you with your LinkedIn profile, and on campus we use a platform called Handshake, and you will see a lot of job postings on there as well, which is a great opportunity. But so many offices are listed here. I don't have enough time to really dive into each of them, but if you would like specifics on some of them, just let us know which one, and we'll be happy to give you the link and some insight there. Alrighty, so I know I mentioned housing a little bit earlier. Housing at SF State is not required for our students. It's actually offered at a first come, first served basis. So that means that there is a separate application that opens every year on March 1st online. With COVID in place this year, and we had to reduce our housing capacity, and we don't really have any confirmation as to what next year's housing situation looks like, but we can anticipate it will be some sort of similar model of what they did this year. But really, on our housing website, you can still see like the room layouts. We offer spaces in terms of resident dorms as well as apartment style living. And so like I said before, it's a first come, first serve opportunity for on-campus housing. But because we know housing is a big need at San Francisco State, our website also will provide resources for our local off-campus communities. Prices will vary based on both the on-campus and off-campus options, but I'd say really explore the housing website, and their contact information is on there if you have specific questions about housing. Alrighty, so let's talk about the cost breakdown real quick. What's great about being a CSU school, and for many of us who are in-state California residents, is that you do receive the in-state tuition. So tuition alone per semester is $3,720. So for a full year, you're getting less than $8,000 just on tuition alone. Really, the bulk of your finances at SF State will go to meals and housing, because we are in the city of San Francisco, so the cost of living just comes at a higher price tag, unfortunately. And these prices that you see here, both this on-campus and living with parents, this is what we call the sticker price. So this is before you apply any financial aid, scholarships, loans, and grants into it. So this is like full price of what we have. But on average, when you apply financial aid, students are paying somewhere between maybe around the $20,000 mark for our on-campus students, roughly. I mean, that's just an average per year, right? So that's just kind of the ballpark of where you can estimate your finances when you come to SF States. I mentioned financial aid a little bit before. Financial aid is offered in these forms: grants, scholarships, work studies, and loans. The first step to financial aid is always going to be to submit your FAFSA, which is, in my opinion, and it's true, it's a very bulky application. So the minute it comes out, I'd say at least get your profile started and utilize your parents or guardians who are going to help support you financially through this application, because it will ask for like tax information and income and all that jazz. So it does take a while to do, but you have a longer time to fill the financial aid application. We also, as an institution, also offer additional scholarships, and they can be categorized through like what major you're in, or it could even be if you're a first generation student or a child of a military family. Our Academic Works website will continuously post scholarships throughout the year for you to continue to apply into, so that you can receive extra funding for your academics here. All right, now we finally get into the requirement section. I know you've been waiting for this. For our first time freshmen, meaning you are coming out of high school and not taking any college courses, we need to make sure that you have fulfilled your A through G requirements. If you are attending a California high school, this should be familiar for you. So it's these subject areas and these minimum numbers of years. That's what we mean by A through G requirements. For our current graduating seniors, if you are applying to come into next fall, we are not taking any SAT or ACT scores at all. For students planning to come in the future, this decision has not been confirmed yet. If we are going back to normal cases, then we may accept SAT and ACT scores, but as of right now, there is no confirmation of if this is required or not. But for our current seniors, we do not meet those scores. We are also looking for a minimum CSU GPA of a 2.0. A CSU GPA pretty much means we're only taking the grades out of those high school A through G courses. So a PE course would actually not be counted towards your GPA, but I still encourage you to get an A and stay active in your PE courses out there. And finally, making sure that you have graduated from high school by obtaining your diploma or GED equivalency. So these are the three biggest areas for the first-time freshmen.
So Rachel, I'm sorry, just to confirm,
Yeah.
SF State, they've already said that for fall 2021, for people that are applying for fall 2021, that they are not taking the SAT scores?
Yes, so we will not use those for your admissions decision. For students who actually have already completed those tests, but they want to submit those, that's okay. It won't hurt or kind of boost you if you do or you don't. Really, if you do submit those, they may be used for your placement courses, for your English 100 level courses, as well as a math course. So it helps us determine, you know, do you need to take that pre-calc course or can you just jump into Calc 1? That's just an example, you know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I'm assuming fall 2022 is undetermined at this point in terms of SAT scores.
That is correct.
Okay.
Thank you. Awesome. Also want to highlight that I know I mentioned that minimum CSU GPA is a 2.0. We do not have our kind of eligibility scale this year as we used to in the past. So if you actually fall between a 2.0 and a 2.5 GPA, we will be reviewing your application holistically, meaning we will be also taking in supplemental material that you already put on your application. So that could mean family income. That could mean if you're a child of a military family, if you're a part of any college prep courses like AVID or Upward Bound. So every campus will review the supplemental materials a little bit differently, but that's only if you fall between that 2 and 2.5. If you are at a 2.5 and above, then you are pretty much admissible into our non-impacted majors and non-impacted schools. I can't speak for the impacted schools, but for our impacted majors, just know that we are advising students to really strive for definitely higher than the minimum, because like I mentioned before, it is a little more competitive to get in those, to get those seats. So if you have more questions about that or need further clarification, let me know. But I also want to highlight the transfer requirements because I know there may be students here who are currently looking into the transfer process, or even if you're in a high school and you want to check out what the transfer requirements mean because it might just fit you better. These are the requirements. Specifically at SF State, we are accepting students at both a lower division transfer and upper division transfer. Not every CSU has this, but at SF State, we actually just opened up our lower division pretty recently, which is awesome. Lower division transfer just means you went to a California community college or really any community college or another CSU or what have you, and you're coming in with less than 60 transferable semester units, or if they're on the quarter system, which a few of them do in California, that's 90 quarter units, less than 90 quarter units, okay? We also check that you are still eligible out of high school by completing those A through G courses, as well as obtaining your diploma in GED equivalency. And then from your community college transferable courses, we are still looking for that 2.0 GPA mark, okay? And then we all are also making sure that you have completed these two areas of general education, which are a written communication course, as well as a quantitative reasoning. This is also known as a math course, okay? So that is just for our lower division transfer students. For our upper division transfer students, you're coming in with 60 or more transferable semester units or 90 quarter units. We are looking for roughly 30 of the 60 to be GEs. So you have fulfilled some general education courses, right? And then once again, that 2.0 GPA from those units that are coming into our campus here. So this upper division route is probably more applicable to almost all the CSUs, pretty much all the CSUs that accept transfer students. But for that lower division side, remember that is specific to SF State. Oh, and then, sorry. For the upper division students, you also need to complete these 4 areas within those GE courses that we call the Golden 4. 1 in oral communications, 1 in written communications, critical thinking, as well as that quantitative reasoning or math class, okay? Let me see here. So forgot to add one more slide, but that's okay. If you have more questions about the transfer stuff, we have links for students looking into that transfer route, as well as that ADT option, which is your associate's degree for transfer. So if you are currently looking to transfer out, chat with your academic advisor to see if you are qualified for that associate's degree to be awarded to you, and then you can utilize that to transfer into the CSU system. And I think Myra and Tino have been doing a great job of posting all the links, but continue to ask questions in the chat if you need more clarification about this. Here's our admitted student profile for fall 2019, so last year's incoming students. As you can see on the left-hand side, our first-time freshman applicants were a little over 34,000 applications, and then we've admitted just over 67% of them. And then the high school students who came in, their average GPA was at 3.30, and that's just the keyword being average, okay? So don't freak out if you're below that number. Same numbers kind of on the right-hand side with our transfer population as well. So as you can see on both ends, we do roughly accept about 2/3 of our applications, right? We do our best to communicate with you to see where you're lacking or whatnot, so that we do want to make you admissible onto our campus, but we still have these criteria that we do fall under. So further clarification, or if you need more help on that, just let us know in the chat box. Alrighty, our application is live now for the fall 2021 students. Previously, it's been due by November 30th, but this year we have given an extension by December 4th. So if you are currently a graduating high school senior or a transfer student looking to transfer in, get that application in soon, because December 4th is coming up. And then for anyone looking just to come into a spring semester, that application will open throughout the month of August. And like I said earlier, I will go over to the CSU application after the presentation to kind of show you and give you some tips on how to fill some sections out. All right, here are the important dates that I kind of mentioned throughout the presentation. October 1st, which was a while ago, can you believe it? Our CSU application has opened up, as well as the FAFSA and DREAM application. By March 1st, our housing application will open up for anyone considering on-campus housing. And then March 2nd is actually the FAFSA and DREAM application due date. So like I mentioned before, you do have a little more time to fill out that FAFSA because it's a larger application. Throughout May 1st or April, sorry, go ahead. Yes.
Just to clarify, so the FAFSA application is already open, but when does it close for the fall 2021 semester?
So the priority deadline is going to be in March 2nd.
March 2nd, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. April 1st to May 1st, our orientation application opens. Orientation is not required for everyone to participate in, but it's highly recommended for you. You get a chance to get more familiar with your campus and meet some more people. And actually, they can help you kind of register for your courses then as well. So it's a great way for you to get a jump start to your semester. By May 1st, we need to know if you are accepting your offer of admissions or not. And then July 15th, for those of you who have accepted your offer of admissions, we do need your final transcripts. That's also the deadline to submit any AP, IB, or CLEP scores if you do want to submit them. Again, not required to submit those scores, but if you have taken the courses, or I'm sorry, if you have taken those exams and you want to send those scores over to us, we'd be happy to take a look at those too. Alrighty, because our in-person campus visits are suspended until further notice, we do have 2 online ways for you to learn about our campus a little bit more. One option is the virtual guided tour. We have a live option as well as just your self-guided tour option. So you see the campus online through a series of photos. If you do the live option, it's led by one of our student ambassadors over Zoom, so you can actually interact with them, ask them questions as they're kind of showing you campus through the series of photos online. Chat with the Gator is pretty much connecting you to one of our student ambassadors, and you get to ask any questions that you want. Very similar to the virtual guided tour, just without the tour itself. So you can find all of that on our outreach website right here. And this is my contact information, Tino's contact information, as well as our office. So if you have any general questions but don't know who to direct it to, feel free to just bring that over to the outreach account. It'll get forwarded to the proper staff member who can answer that. And then myself and Tino's, and I know Myra will be dropping her email address in the chat as well if you feel the need to reach out to her. So that's all that I have about SF State and a little bit about the CSU system. Do we have any questions now before I pause and transition into the application itself?
I think we had some question, but Tino's doing like an amazing job of answering those questions on the chat.
Awesome, awesome. Let me also do a time check.
Would you like us to answer some of those questions live?
Let me see. I think most of them were answered. Does anybody, Noel, Jamal, Salwan, or anybody else, do you guys have any questions for Rachel, Myra, or Tino?
When do students know that they got accepted? Because I'm going to apply for the fall.
Yeah, so our admission, or I'm sorry, our communication to you about your admissions decision will come between January to April. So pretty much in the springtime, right? So it's really based on how soon you get the application in and that turnaround time from our staff members who are reviewing it and giving you that communication. But don't feel bad if you get it towards April. That doesn't mean anything like negative on you. It's just we have that whole time frame to give you a decision. But good question. Thank you for asking that. Any other questions? Oh, yes, go ahead. Sorry.
Are letter of recommendations needed for the application, or is that only for UCs?
So we do not accept any letter of recommendations, and we also don't have any sort of personal statement or short writing prompt on our application. I will actually transition over to the application right now so I can show you that. There is a small exception if you are applying into an EOP program, Educational Opportunity Program, which all CSU campuses have. It's a program that supports low-income first-generation students. If you click yes on that section that you want to apply into EOP, they will require 2 letters of recommendation and a short writing prompt, which I will show you on the application.
And if I can add on to that, although a letter of recommendation is not required for admission purposes, you may be required to submit a letter of recommendation for scholarships if you are applying to any scholarships and they have that as one of the requirements to be evaluated. So just know that although for admissions you might not have it, it might be actually a good idea to have them handy or know who you can ask for a recommendation if you are applying for scholarships.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Alrighty, I'm going to reshare my screen so I can show you the CSU application. Alrighty, so this is what our main page looks like. I also don't have the chat box open, so I'm not sure what else is coming in, but I know my notification is blinking off. But if someone, it's or Myra can put the CSU application link on the chat so either they could follow along or have it for their own use later on, that would be great. This is the main page of the CSU application. You're pretty much going to scroll down, find this drop box here and click Fall 2021. These are other options available for maybe other campuses, but we are only accepting Fall 2021 at SF State right now. Hit apply. All right, you will come to this page. If you haven't created an account yet, go ahead and click this create an account function. If you have, oops, I was using this for another student the other day and this happened when I don't sign out. Click create an account, it'll bring you to this page. If you have created an account for like a past semester, then you will have to recreate one for fall 2021 because that has happened to me before. Pretty much looking for your basic information, like when you create an account for any sort of online platform, right? Names, it's important to put your legal name, so whatever is listed on your birth certificate or driver's license, an official document, right? If you have a nickname, you can go ahead and put that on the display name section. But for your first given name and even your last name, make sure you are utilizing your official documentation names. Contact information, we're looking for an email address and phone number. If you list down your mobile phone number, they're just going to pretty much send you text reminders about your application, like if you started it but haven't turned it in yet. But they will pretty much not be ever calling you, so don't worry about that. For an email address, we recommend students to put an email address that they check frequently, but we also recommend them that they don't utilize their high school email address, because I know at my high school in California here, once you graduate, it gets deleted. So you don't have access to that email address anymore. So really try to use one that is personal, that you do check frequently, because communication will pretty much be directed through email mostly. And then just some understanding terms of services, as well as creating your username and password for the system. Again, more terms and conditions, and then one quick question if you are currently located in one of these European Union countries. So that's pretty straightforward for the most part. I'm going to log in and show you what it looks like on the inside. All right, so this is our main page, but after you create your account, it'll actually bring you to this program page right here. Let me also double check. Actually, no. Let me just show you the program page first. I was going to double check something because I think mine is listed for a transfer student from the last person I was working with, but I don't remember. Anyways, you can see that all the campuses and their open programs right now that you can apply to are listed here. You can utilize the filter button right here to select certainly by campus. So you see all the 23 campuses here. I will click SF State because I am promoting SF State with y'all right now. And you can see all of the programs here. I'll also scroll down and see what else they have. I'm gonna highlight. Oh, I added computer science because that was the last student I was working with, was interested in computer science. But I'm gonna scroll to like the pre-section so you all can see that pre-nursing and pre-psych area.
And just to clarify, Rachel, all of the deadlines are December 4th, right? Regardless of the major that you pick.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yep, so you can see all of these areas are going to be pre. You're not going to find just that nursing route or straight into psychology route. We admit you in that pre-level for our first-time freshmen. Alrighty, so once you're done clicking what program you're interested in, also you can select multiple campuses. So if you're interested in SF State and even maybe San Jose or Sonoma, you can actually put those programs in here right now. You just need to enter your application information once and it actually gets sent to all the campuses you are applying to. So it saves you time from putting information in multiple times, which is really, really cool. When you are done clicking your programs that you're interested in, it'll actually bring you back to this home page here with the 4 quadrants. Personal information is just going to ask for your personal information. It'll also ask a little bit about parent guardian information as well as your citizenship and residency. All the information that you list in the application here will be only shared and kept confidential between the CSU application site as well as the campuses that are receiving your application. The only reason why we're asking for citizenship and residency is so we can determine how we charge our tuition for you, whether you're in-state or an out-of-state student, right? Let me go back to the 4 quadrants. There we go. Supporting information is where you will see this EOP section, like I mentioned before. If you're interested in applying into the educational opportunity programs in any one of our campuses, which is a program for low-income first-generation students, you will have to complete this area with either yes or yes, I will return later to complete the EOP questions. This is an option because we mentioned before there is 2 letters of recommendation as well as a short writing prompt required to be submitted for the EOP only. You actually have a small extension just for this EOP section to complete those areas. So you actually have until January 31st just for EOP. You still have to get the application, the rest of the application in by December 4th. But after that, if you click this yes and I will return later, you can come back and submit your writing areas as well as the letters of recommendations. And then it'll also ask about any educational program participation. These are the supplemental areas that I was kind of mentioning earlier, work information, extracurriculars, and all that jazz, right? So this is a very short section. It'll probably be the quickest for you to fill out just on the questions alone. Program materials were the academic programs that you were selecting from the campuses. That's why you can see mine's completed because I already selected one, but I want to highlight academic history because this is where a bulk of your time will be spent on the application. You do need to submit the items in order for you to fill it out easier. So go ahead and add your high school. If you went to multiple high schools, you do want to add all the high schools that you attended. If you went overseas or to a different state for a high school, it'll also show up here. I will delete this so I can show you one important feature throughout the application. Alrighty, so I will show you all my high school that I attended. So in this drop box here, or in this search bar, you will type in either the state, city, zip code, or if you know your high school SEEB code, you can put that in as well. It's very important, this is what I want to highlight, for you to use the drop-down menu as much as possible throughout the application in this section here. One, it's because our system already recognizes it, but I will also give you a second reason why when I get into high school coursework. So I will put in high school, I went to American Canyon High School, and you also put the dates attended. So roughly just the month and the year. So I'm gonna date myself a little bit, don't judge me. It's gonna be 2010 to 2014. Again, don't judge me. Alrighty, you're gonna select your term type, quarter, semester, trimester, or full year. I imagine many of you will be semester or trimester, and it'll pop up right there. Let's go to the next section. There's also this quick question right here. Also know that as you are filling out this questions throughout the entire application, there may be some follow-up boxes that pop up, so make sure that you are keeping an eye out for them. Not all of them will have it, but some of them do, just in case you need more information. I especially want to highlight high school coursework because this is where most students get stuck on, and that's where we get most questions, honestly. So let's add, for example, I'm going to add my 9th grade year. I went to American Canyon, click the green checkbox. So reason number 2 why the drop down is really important. It'll actually save you some time because our system has already recognized that course. So I'll show you. English can pop up both as an AP as well as the English 9 and 10 options. Our system has recognized it so that when you click it, it'll know that your course type was a regular course. It wasn't an AP course, IB, or an honors course. So that'll come up automatically. You self-report your grades. So let's say I got B pluses both semesters, and I'll click that. I will show you what it looks like if I do an AP course. Let's say I took AP chemistry. I did in high school and I did not do well in that course. I'm just being very transparent with you all right now. But as you can see, this box automatically came up as an AP course, and then you just self-report your grades. I won't give you my real grade. I'm going to say I passed. Again, this was not my strongest subject in high school. There you go. The dropdown is also really important because when you get to this A through G matching area, which pretty much gives you a summary of all the courses that you took in high school and that you have met the minimum requirements for our A through G areas, it'll pop up automatically here. Let me show you what will happen if you don't utilize the drop-down menu. I'm going to utilize a course that I did take in 12th grade, for example. And my English course in 12th grade was actually called Man's Search for Meaning, which is actually a book. And our whole year, we just studied the book. Alrighty, as you can see, no results found. I have to manually put in the fact that it was a regular course. And then let's say I got an A- both semesters. Alrighty, so I know that's an English course, but the system doesn't know that's an English course. So when you get to A through G matching, I won't get that second year of English. This came from my 9th grade year, remember? So I actually have to click Update A through G and manually put in the fact that this was an English course. Does that make sense so far? Awesome. So just be really mindful and detail oriented. As you're putting in coursework, make sure that you're utilizing the actual course name that is listed on your high school transcripts. Okay, I know biology is often called bio, or you can have, I don't know, cell biology or whatever it is, right? Everyone has different courses, but making sure you are as accurate as possible to your official transcripts. Also important for those of you currently applying and you are a high school senior, that you are still submitting your 12th grade year. And because we know that 12th grade is still happening, right? Whether pandemic or not, we still have school. Let me just do an AP course, for example. Let's say you're taking AP Calculus AB. Fall semester, it's currently in progress because you are taking it now. Spring semester, let's say it's planned because you're not planning to switch out of it. You're keeping that AP class for next semester, okay? But I also know that our history courses, such as government and econ, is often split into different semesters. That was the case for me. So I'm going to do American government. Let's say I'm taking it this semester, so it's in progress, but next semester I'm not taking it because it switches over to econ. So for that, you would put no grade. Okay? And then vice versa for econ. No grade for this semester and planned. I also know that last semester, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, that you may have received credit, no credit. So for courses like that, what am I missing? Science, sure, chemistry. Let's say chemistry 1. If you received credit, you just utilize pass. If you did not receive credit, you utilize no pass. We don't have credit, no credit here, unfortunately. It's just worded differently. So hopefully that makes sense. So that's where you would input that, and then the A3G matching will pop up. And then for the standardized tests, SAT, ACT, or APs, IB, CLEP, you will put them here. If you don't want to, that's okay. Again, it won't hurt you. And if you do, it will help you for placement, but just not admissions purposes. Okay. So that's pretty much the general
With the SAT scores, if you score high on SAT, would that help you for impacted majors as well? Not just like English placement or math placement. Would that help or no?
So we are not utilizing those for any admissions purposes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it would just be utilized for placement in terms of like English level and math level college courses.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Good question. Alrighty. When you are done filling every section here, it'll all turn green. You go over to the submit application area. This will all be green with a check mark. And then it'll show the fees. Every campus is $70. I know it's a little pricey. However, if you think you qualify for a fee waiver, there's actually a button here that will pop up once everything is green, and it'll say like, check if I qualify for a fee waiver. You click that and the system will automatically notify you if you do or you don't. If you do qualify, you get 4 campuses for free. So if you want to apply to more, that's where you just have to pay the extra. Okay. So that was a really quick overview highlight of the application. Are there any questions that I can answer live right now at the moment? Let me see if also, I know there are transfer students here, and let me switch my application over for the transfer student perspective so you can take a look at the academic portion. Let's see, transferring, let's say you are transferring within, actually, let's say California, so I save that extra step. So if you are coming in with the ADT, it'll ask you which college, and then if you will receive a second ADT from a California community college, as you can see here. But for the sake of time, I will go ahead and click that. And then it'll also ask you if you're coming in with that less than 60 or greater than 60, greater or equal, okay? For the sake, I'm gonna say junior and above. Yeah. Also, I should have mentioned this as I got to this page. This is your extended profile. If you think there's any issues with your application, for example, if you are a first-time freshman and you get to the program section where it shows all the campuses and programs, something that's really common is that you'll see the programs such as biology, but then there's parentheses and it says international applicant only. So that means you probably clicked the wrong button and you identified yourself as an international applicant. So to fix that, you just go over, hover to your name in the top corner here and click extended profile. Typically we do suggest to students that once you have your application all set up, before you get too far into the academic portion and stuff, that you check this extended profile, that you clicked all the correct bubbles. Because if you fill out your academic portion and then you check here and realize something was wrong, if you change one of your answers here, it'll erase all of your academic coursework and you have to re-input that. So make sure that you check out the extended profile first. Okay, let me save changes and quickly show you the academic portion. See, it'll say confirm before saving. Okay. No. Did I do something wrong? While I problem solve on the spot, any questions that came in so far? Dang it, what is going on? Sorry, there's usually, so if you're a transfer student, you will see one more box down here that says college coursework. So that's where you put your college information in. It'll have very similar boxes to kind of like this, except it'll ask for your actual course number. So Bio 101. Again, utilizing that dropdown, if you click that Bio 101 option from the dropdown, it'll automatically, there's a second box that says like the name of the course actually, and it'll actually be called like Intro to Biology or whatever your course is called, right? So you don't have to manually type it in all the time, but very similar, it'll have fall and spring for you to self-report your grades. So my apologies, I couldn't change it on the spot right now. I think I was just like skimming through it too fast because I want to be really mindful of time. But again, just like a quick overview of the application. I hope many of you are either working on it or now that you have a chance to see it, can start working on it before that December 4th deadline. It's definitely best for you to get it in before like December 3rd because the system may freeze or have some issues for our students who are submitting close to that December 4th deadline, right? So doing it ahead of time is always great and will definitely save you a lot of stress. Awesome. So I left 1 more minute for any last minute questions and stuff. But also if you have any issues with the application or more questions after tonight, please feel free to reach out to one of us at SF State. We'd be happy to walk you through it. Even if you're not applying to SF State, but you saw me here tonight and you're like, I know I'm applying to a CSU and I need help with this, just email me. I'm still happy to chat with you on Zoom and you can share your screen and we can problem solve some areas for you, okay?
All right, thank you so much for that wonderful and very informative presentation. I think the majority of the questions got answered through the chat, but Noel, Jamal, Selwan, or anybody else, are there any questions that you guys still have for Rachel or Tina?
I do see one in the chat. Why do we need the high school classwork if you guys have our transcript? Yes, so final transcripts are not coming in until, like I mentioned, the deadline is July 15th, right? And the application is due December 4th. So we want you to self-report all of your information as accurate as possible with the coursework and the grades so we can pretty much accept you based off what we see so far. It's pretty much a conditional acceptance, right? Because say, for example, you just totally put some incorrect information on your application and your final transcript comes in and we say, oh, there was some incorrect areas here that will make you not admissible into our campus anymore. So we have to resend our admissions for you, unfortunately. So that's the importance of A, putting your items in accurately, and B, why we need them ahead of time. Because once we do accept you, we will ask for your final transcript to really verify your application was accurate.
All right, thank you for that answer. Any other questions, guys? And I want to be mindful of your time as well, Rachel and Tina. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for coming out. If there are any more questions, Rachel and Tina, I think they dropped their emails in the chat. It's also in the video, and I'll be posting their emails on when I post the video on our website. So thank you guys so much, Tina and Rachel. Can we have a digital round of applause for them? Thank you guys so much. We definitely appreciate your time. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a great night.
Mohammed, really quick,
Yeah.
can you also email us the when you post it? Can you email us the presentation as well, or email us the link so we can watch it on your website as well?
Yeah, definitely. We'll email you the link to the website. I'll probably just email you the link to the video first before I even post it.
Perfect.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Bye, everybody.